Hello girls, I am going to talk to you about interspecific relationships. In the last few lessons you looked into intraspecific relationships, which are the interactions between members of the same species, and now we are going to look at interactions between members of different species. These interactions can be quite indirect or infrequent. So for example, if species feed on the same food source but never actually meet. But they can also be involve direct contact and be very close, like for example pollinators and their flowers, or animals that are fighting for the same resources. Here is an overview of all the different kinds of relationship, and in the next few PowerPoints we're going to look at them one by one. And today we're going to start with predation. So you see under one that there are three types of what we call exploitation, which means that one of the species benefits and the other one is disadvantaged. And the most well-known and common is probably predation. So in predation, one species is the predator, and the predator captures and feeds on the other organism. So there is one animal capturing another living animal and then feeding on it, and the second species is called the prey. This is a relationship where clearly it is beneficial to one, the predator, and detrimental to the other, the prey. And we characterize these relationships by giving them pluses and minuses. So this is clearly a plus for the predator and a minus for the prey. Here are a few examples. For here, up here, a hedgehog eating an earthworm, and picture below a fox eating, what is that, like a little bunny or something. And here is the link to a video. It's Crash Course Biology, and if you click on this picture you find you can the link will open up, so you might want to pause the PowerPoint here and watch this video and then come back. Since predators and prey clearly have a very close relationship, they influence each other in several ways. One way of influencing each other is the influence in numbers. So here in this diagram we see the number of animals in thousands over time, and you can see it's been observed for a very long period of time. The red bars are the numbers of the snowshoe hare, which is the prey in this example, and the blue bars are the numbers of lynx. And you see obviously here the snowshoe hare had a pretty good year, so there was obviously quite a lot of food, but you see that the lynx numbers also were high, so they were preying a lot on the hare, and as a result the population crashed. Now, since the lynx now found less food, the population of the lynx also crashed, which allowed the snowshoe hare population to recover. And you see they reached really high numbers, so it must have been good weather, lots of food, and not many lynx around. And as a result, since the lynx was finding more food, the lynx population also went up. But then the predation became a little bit too heavy, and as a result the snowshoe hare population crashed, and as a result the lynx population crashed as well. So you can see these population numbers fluctuating over time, and you can see that the lynx number is closely linked to the number of its prey. And what that does in a healthy ecosystem is that it keeps the number of both species in a healthy range. So an ecosystem that has a full set of prey and predators basically balances itself. Another way a predators and prey influence each other is through evolution, and we call this co-evolution. A little bit later in this year you will do an external on evolution, and co-evolution will definitely come up there. What that means is that two species evolve in responding to each other. So what we also say is the predator and the prey are in an evolutionary arms race. So the predator might evolve something to make it easier to catch the prey. For example, lions might evolve to run faster. And then as a result, the prey will respond by developing an adaptation that allows it to escape better. So it might become more camouflaged, or it might also adapt, become longer legs, get longer legs or something to run faster as well. And this has been happening over millions of years, obviously, and we can see a vast array of adaptations in both groups, and we are going to go through a few examples in this PowerPoint. Basically, there are 4 stages of predation. First of all, prey needs to be detected, then attacked and captured, and in the end consumed. So let's have a look at stage 1, example for detecting. There are some amazing features that some animals have developed to detect prey. For example, rattlesnakes can use infrared sensors to hunt prey at night, and bats use sonar to hunt prey. And predators, to avoid being found, have developed amazing camouflage, and I'll show you an example in a moment, and also some of them hide. So for example, clownfish hide in sea anemones. So here is an example of camouflage, and here is the animal. And if you wouldn't know that it was there, you would actually not see it, would you? So if this one sits still, it is impossible to detect. It's a perfect example for camouflage. Then once the prey has been spotted, it then needs to be attacked. And one way of attacking is simply to run for it and capture it. And so some animals have developed the ability to run amazingly fast, like cheetahs, for example. Other animals have evolved to work in, have learned to work in groups, and I believe that you have learned about that when you looked at intra-specific relationships and group hunting. So, for example, pelicans, which are type of birds, they herd fish together, so they're all close together, and makes it much easier for them to catch them. And how do predators avoid that? They also learn to run really fast. They often are in groups. So for example, fish often swim in very large groups, and that reduces the risk for each individual to be caught. So this is a safety in number thing that you probably learned about in intra-specific relationships as well. Some of them have chemical defense, so when the predator comes close, they release something that is nauseous or stinks. Some of them have developed weapons, so for example the pufferfish and deer is obvious, antler, pufferfish you're probably not so sure about. So I have linked a couple of videos here, so again you might want to pause the PowerPoint and have a look at this video. This is about a fish who form a bait ball, and this is about the pufferfish. Now when the predators have found their prey and they have hunted them, then they still need to capture them. And again, they have all sorts of different strategies. Here in this background picture, you see a very simple strategy. They simply just grab them, and they have this amazing claws. But some of them have quite sophisticated capturing strategies. For example, spiders. Spiders are predators. They eat only other animals. They do not eat plants at all. And they have these sticky webs to catch their prey, and some of them build pitfalls, and they build all sorts of really sophisticated traps. Excuse me. Some fish, some animals have lures. For example, the anglerfish uses lures to attract the prey. So it is that's a fish that lives really deep in the sea in the dark, and it has a little light thingy attached to its forehead to attack prey. And here is a video that you might want to watch about the anglerfish. And what do predators do to, so once they have been detected and the predator is close, what can they still do? So one of the things they do, they have armor defenses. For example, the tortoise shell is really difficult to get through for the predator. And some are either use visual deception, and I'll show you a picture in a moment, and that's what I mean with visual deception. So this is a very harmless moth, but when it opens its wings, it shows these two eye spots. And for a predator who is moving fast and not taking a really close look, this looks really scary, because it looks like it might be some sort of really big animal with two eye spots and then the mouth down here. So when the moth flashes these eye spots, that might be enough for the predator to be scared off. Another prey capturing strategy is filter feeding. Quite a lot of animals just filter water, so that happens mostly in the sea, and so animals like the manta ray and also quite a lot of the small animals, like mussels, for example, green-lipped mussels, just filter the water to extract the tiny plankton. And another avoidance strategy for predators is to be poisonous. For example, lionfish are toxic to predators, and they advertise this with really bright color so they don't get accidentally eaten. And eventually the predator will learn to avoid these kinds of animals. And here is another video for you to look at. And here are quite a few more videos. And they all show different predator-prey strategies that I would like you to watch. And then for each one of these, try to identify which strategies both prey and predator are using.